All right, mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Let's turn this down. Hello, everybody. It's not too cold outside, but it's getting there. It's starting to warm up a little bit. All right. Well, we are going to be tying some flies for just to show off, really, to be braggadocious. Tomorrow's the Long Island Fly Fishing Show. Where exactly? It's probably a good idea if I, in case anyone's interested, tell you exactly where it is. Forgot what the name of the hotel is, but let's see. It's at the Radisson Hotel in Hauppauge, New York. On 110 Vanderbilt Motorway, okay. But we'll be tying there as a, not as a feature tire, but as just somebody hanging out tying some flies. So it'd be a good way to say hello. We haven't seen a lot of folks in a while, so it'll be good to tune in. But yeah, so we're going to tie some fancy looking, probably some squimpish sort of hollows or some big stuff. 1 or 2 flies. I'm not going to be streaming super late tonight because I do need to get up at like 6 a.m. tomorrow or something, and drive out west. But what's going on, Southern Fly Guy? How you doing, man? I'll just bring some flies that we've tied, and I'll just tie a couple. I'll be tying some squimpish stuff probably there. Just show you like the sort of stuff. This is one I had in my box. I'll just be having on the table for people to take a look at. I'll just be shouting out the YouTube and Twitch stream, letting people know if they ever need any flies or anything like that. So it'll be good to catch up with a lot of folks I haven't seen in a while, though, so that'll be good. Let's zoom in here some. So also, if you haven't checked out the Windrum's American Eel Fly video is up. So be sure to give that a watch. It is based off of Chris Windrum's American Eel Fly from Bob Verka's Innovative Saltwater Flies book, which is a fantastic book that I have from the, I think, late 90s, early 2000s. But Chris Windrum is the owner and operator of saltwaterflies.com. Fantastic fly tire, and I essentially constantly was, reading that book in particular and checking out all the New England fly tires. And I've been buying materials from Chris for many, many years now, so shout out to him. I actually got to talk to him about the Fly 2 before filming it, so that was interesting. Going fishing Tuesday for Monster Browns. You like the fly, bro? Nice. Very cool, very cool. You should try and tie some squimpish tube flies. Mr. David Nelson from Squimpish Flies is pretty much developed this stuff for, larger flies, but he ties a lot of smaller streamers for brown trout, big brown trout, Okay, so I got my old vice head in here because this sucker's worn out and I could fit giant hooks in here with ease. So we're going to keep using this for now. I do have, here we go, big Arex 8 odds. So we should probably tie some, tie some big boys for the, for the show tomorrow. So let's go ahead and tie 2 flies. We got these giant Arex 8 odds, which these are essentially like tuna hooks. You know what I mean? You can use them for bait, trolling, or fly hooks, but at this size, this is like a bluefin tuna sort of hook, Very, very serious hook. You could even go catch like marlin on these sort of things, smaller ones. I think I would go for larger hooks, properly built setups if we're going for something bigger than that. But, I mean, even this, dude, it's like almost impossible to get in there. So, look, I can't even... These are massive. Yeah, maybe these are a little too big. I think Regal makes a new jaw, actually. Let me see what else I have. I I got some big predator hooks, I think. Do some circles, actually. Yeah, these are like just massive, massive hooks. That was one of the reasons the handle is getting worn out after so many flies over the years. So I need to we got a replacement head. Don's actually going to take these jaws out and give me a new head, because this is worn out over the years, like these grooves, and it fits really big stuff. But the handle is starting to loosen up. So I mean, just after like 10,000-15,000 flies over the years. So he sent me this beautiful, nice head, but it's still, you know, these hooks are like pretty much almost not even fly hooks. I still have a really hard time getting them in there. So we're going to take these jaws out because they're perfectly fine. Probably replace the handle and then put a new head. And I'll have my old jaws, which will fit like monsters. I think they have new hooks now. They have these like much larger hooks. But, I mean, much larger jaws. So I need to get one of those at some point. Like the monster jaws, I think they're called, or something. Something like that. Let's break out one of these 5-aught owner inline circle hooks. We've been tying on circle hooks recently, particularly for bluefish. But these are pretty heavy-duty large hooks. You can tie some pretty massive flies on here. So I'm thinking we tie like some big squimpish stuff on here and kind of show off how we can tie a larger fly with squimpish hair. Yeah, it'll be nice to have these jaws back because these jaws are so nice. They've just been like worn in over the years. They're like perfect. What's going on, Doc? How's it going, man? But that was something that's, I could probably adjust it myself, but they're gonna take care of it. I think it's just from literally opening and closing. I don't know how many thousands and thousands and thousands of times. Also, I was talking to Don, something I need to do because I live so close to Saltwater that essentially everything gets destroyed. Guitar strings, anything metal, right? Gets corroded so incredibly fast, and especially during the summer, like my hands sweat a lot. So you can see the handle got corroded and kind of rusted. I mean, it's perfectly fine. I kind of like it. This thing looks like it's seeing quite a lot of use. But one thing I need to start doing with these, you can see a brand new head, how the finish is like super nice and clean. And this one's probably about 4 or 5 years old, commercially tying all of those years. I can't even tell you how many flies have probably been tied on here. But I need to start conditioning the metal. It's almost like just like anything else, like I'm going to be using some gun, what do you call it? Some gun lubricant sort of stuff. G26, I think is what he called it. But I'm assuming you could probably use any sort of metal conditioning oil just to kind of clean it up every once in a while and keep that, keep the metal nice and clean, you know what I mean? So the jaws last forever. It's just usually my handles get worn out over time. Got the same problem being between two estuaries, yeah. Pretty much everything that is metal gets corroded very fast, so it's really annoying, but hey, you know, I get to go walk down to go fishing, but we have to change my guitar strings like once a week if I'm playing all the time. Okay. You been watching the new vids? Nice. Gonna be tying some snook and for snook and reds in April. Very nice. Yeah, we're getting ready. We're starting to tie right about now for striped bass in April. So, okay, squimpish. Let's tie some flies, shall we? Grab a bucktail. Just grab a bucktail real quick. My headphones are like on the fritz. There we go. Let me go ahead and move this sucker over so you guys can see the whole shebang. Let me know if the focus goes out as well. Sometimes I get focused on the fly. Ha 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 ha. All right. We're going to start out with a little bucktail here. This will be support for our tail. Now, we could easily tie some hackle, and I very well may. But I also might just tie some squimpish hair on here. I'm thinking we probably do something like some angel, not angel, like we could do angel hair, but it's already in the blends. We should probably do some like ostrich curl tied in. Maybe we can even just do like razzle dazzle style. We'll tie some feathers on the actual wings up top. I don't know. We need to see. We'll figure it out. But we should probably hollow tie some squimpish hair. So, I think this one we're just going to be. Should we mix some natural materials in there? Or should we do one just with squimpish hair to start? Let's do one just with squimpish, and then we'll do some natural hair after this. We'll do like a natural tail. And I'll probably mix some bucktail. We'll probably do some bucktail hollow ties blended, which I started doing a lot more with my squimpish hair flies. So we've got some white here. I've got some that has some kind of flashiness to it, so... have to pick some up. Some told me some machinists use it to keep their expensive bits rust-free. I can't remember for the life of me. Wirelight or something? Oh, wrote it down? Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah, the only thing, I mean, it's just anything else. I've had, different vices over the years. They always get somewhat corroded or, some surface rust. Probably condition it and then wipe it off, or let it sit and then wipe it off before using it so you don't have any petroleum-based products, interacting with the material. But essentially anything metal, right? Even stainless steel over time can rust, so. Resistor works great. Okay. Yeah, Don from Regal told me, I think it was G26 is what he uses or something. Resistol. Gotcha, Resistol it's called. Okay. Take a look. I want to make this, let's see, this is a 5-odd. Let's make it somewhat longer to start. We can actually use this though for the base because I kind of can taper the size of the tail material. We're going to try and keep this somewhat sparse though. I don't want to overdo it. I'm going to go with some of this, what do you call it? Dude, my headphones, I got to get a new pair of headphones here. I'm going to go with some of this Lawn Silver Pearl Flashabou here. Which I have a gigantic box of this. I bought some from some dude. He's, it's not Flashabou, it's just Chinese flash. Probably, something. It's, he ordered a giant box or something of it, or a hank. I don't know. He ordered a lot, and I bought a hank for like $50. So now I'm stuck with an unlimited amount of silver flash for the rest of my life. So it's like a silver holographic flash, essentially. Should we go with some color here? No, we're going to keep it all white. I like going all white for like a majority of the body. One thing we should actually do, why don't we start out with white, and then we'll do Popovic style where we actually have colors for the whole collar will be a certain color. You know what I mean? For that two-tone, but not top and bottom. Two-tone moving up the shank. I like that sort of look. Popovic's tied a lot of like bulkheads, bucktail deceivers, and hollow flies, beast flies like that. Or like yellow in the tail, chartreuse up front, that sort of thing, I like that a lot. I don't do it with squimpish enough either, so. I actually also have like an old squimpish dubbing brush that I made at some point. I'll probably break out my dubbing brush table here, and we'll make some squimpish dubbing brushes soon. I was kind of waiting for an excuse to break that out. The only time I ever really use that thing is when I'm making my own custom dubbing brushes for some flies that I used to tie for some shops and stuff, but we were tying some shrimp flies, and I was making my own dubbing brushes using like EP fiber and some other stuff. All right. So we'll probably do, let's do one. Do we do a normal collar? in front of this? A light one. Sure. And I'm going to do a very small amount of bucktail, either hollow tied or normally tied under each collar, just to help give it some body underneath and also give some support to the squimpish hair. It's kind of like a little underlining. Just move up a little. Oh, I should probably put a small amount of head cement on here, right? Kind of spread that around a little. Yeah, let me go ahead and apply a little head cement here. It's almost time to fish. What's going on, Jay? How's it going? That's right. Is getting closer. What do you call it? Definitely got a lot of flies, so I'm pretty good on that. But I need to keep filming videos because I think we're going to start oystering. I think it's only for about a month till the end of April. But we're going to start later this month. I got to get my local town license for clamming. But we're going to start oystering. So it's like, 4 or 5 hours every day. So I'm trying to get ahead of it. But we're going to keep grinding. I got a lot of fly tying to do. I got a lot of videos to film. So just got to, got to make some money here. But we're going to keep going. But probably next week, I'm going to try and record as many fly tying videos as I can so I can just edit them after work, essentially, for the month. And then we're going to be clamming during the summer and all that. As long as I can keep up with it, we're going to be good. Luckily, when we go clamming, it's like a couple hours. It's like pretty simple. Not too big of a deal. All right. We actually, and it's up early for members, I always upload the videos like a day or two early, except for the giveaway video on Friday, which we actually picked a winner, Jaren, I believe. But I'll put that in a video here soon to announce it, because I recorded me picking the winner and all that. But what do you call it? Oh, I lost my train of thought. Damn it. Oh, yeah. We have the shrimp gurgler video, which is up. That's coming out on Sunday, which is, I think it came out really well. It looks really sick. I also adjusted all my camera settings, so the aperture, the f-stop, the aperture, the shutter rate, everything is manual now. So right now it looks pretty good. I'm actually pretty happy, but I have it set up so I have the light kind of like this. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to make sure that it's not too dark, because what was happening is that I think the aperture was auto-adjusting, and when my hands would go over the fly like this, it would get darker, and it would adjust the aperture, and something was wrong. So I think now I've gotten it dialed in. So, also taking inspiration from like She Ties Flies. She does a great job filming her videos, and just some other folks, not only just fly tying, but just videography in general. I'm trying to like work on my filming, so I think it's coming out. There's definitely always room to improve. I'm just using a basic lens. I probably should get like a macro lens at some point and yada yada yada, but I'm making it work. Okay. But I'm on the quest to improve the quality of videos, you know what I mean? It's a never-ending thing, so. But I think I got a nice little formula going. So we're just cranking out some videos. Doing about 3 or 4. I'm trying to shoot for 4. But for instance, like this Monday, we might skip this Monday and do next Monday or something, because at some point here soon I'm going to get like super swamped. So, but no matter what, I'm doing at least 3 videos a week. So 4 might get a little hectic. That's why I'm trying to film everything ahead of time, because it's a lot of work to do everything. Who would have thought? You know what I mean? But that's all right. I got a lot of different flies I want to film that I think will be definitely something that people will enjoy. So I'm really happy with how this eel fly came out. I haven't tied that in many years either. This version's probably a lot better than the old versions I tied when I was younger, because this is a fly I used to tie in fish when I was younger. Because really the only way I knew how to anything about learning with fly patterns was any books that I had. This was before I even met any other fly fishermen out here. This is a fantastic book. Innovative Saltwater Flies. I love it. It was always one of my favorite books. A lot of bonefish, permit, snook, tarpon, sea trout stuff, but there's also a lot of like striper guys in there, guys and girls. Or gals. Great fly tires in there. And Bob Verka has he's got a bunch of different books actually too. He was a very good author for saltwater fly tying. A lot of good books from the time I remember renting from the library and stuff. I'm assuming most of these books you like can't find nowadays, just like Striper Moon or some of Lou Tabery's books. I saw Jay sent me, he got one of Lou Tabery's books, Striper on the Fly, I think it was. I have that book right here. Fantastic book. But I will say the inshore fly fishing, is that the name of it? Yeah, this is the one you got to find, Jay. Stripers on the Fly is fantastic, but this book was his coup de grace. Is that the right word? Isn't a coup de grace like your finale or something, or like your best piece of work? I don't know. I brought this to France with me, though. Or maybe not this exact copy, because I probably brought the one from the library. But this book right here is what taught me everything about fly fishing when I was a kid. Before any like real TV shows or anything like that. Everything from how to read beaches to the fish. And a lot of it talks about like some of my home areas. Peconic Bays, some of the best place for weak fish. Talking about how to read water. A lot of this stuff we know nowadays just from absorbing, fishing content everywhere. But look at this. Using canoes to go catch bonito off Martha's Vineyard. There's like 5 dudes in canoes out there. I love it. That's a total Glenn Mickelson thing to do. Lefty Cray with a bluefish. What book is this? This is Lou Tabery's Inshore Fly Fishing. Pretty much everything you need to know to catch fish in saltwater on the East Coast. On the northeast, essentially. But fantastic book. If you can find it, I don't know if you even... this thing I think was like $50-$60 back then. I'm pretty certain it's out of print. I know it was $32 back then. You see that? Which is about $60 nowadays. Thanks to inflation. You have it? Oh, nice, Jay. Hell yeah. I know you got the other Tabery book. You got it? Hell yeah. And then this is the book that we have from Chris Windrum's fly that I just showed. I'm just going to show you guys this because it's fun, right? Why not? This is a Bob Verka book. This book's fantastic. You can see all the tires. Mark Sadati. Hello. David Skoke. Obviously Bob Verka. There's Chris Windrum. Let's see. I'm just looking at Glenn Mickelson. This book is fantastic. Joe Blados. Dan Blanton. Who else? Bill Catherwood. The OG greatest deer hair spinner of all time. I don't care what anyone says. Trey Combs for all the big game stuff. Jack Gardside. This book right here, even just for those names, if it was just those people, this book would be worth it. But look at the photography in this. It's like so fantastic. So let's show you. I'll show you. There's Jack Gardside. This is what he was famous for, was riding a inflatable giraffe around, where was it? Boston Harbor, I think it was. If you've ever seen a fly with a piece of foam tied on top, like the gurgler, he's literally the reason why. And there's not even gurglers in here. Which I like, by the way. There's not a single gurgler. It's just all him using his Gartside tubing, which isn't available anymore because I think, unfortunately, he passed away a while ago. But I'll show you Chris Windrum's stuff. Again, the flies in here are fantastic. Yeah, I'm assuming if it's got Gartside in it, then that's definitely who it is. Oh, by the way, check this out. A young Mark Sadati. Check out that handsome fellow right there. With a gigantic bluefish in the Long Island Sound. Which, shout out. If you haven't, you should check out Mark's new channel, by the way. Mark Sadati something? I forgot. He's got a new channel now. He's got all his videos like... It's like made for kids sort of thing, so you can't comment on them. I gotta tell him. I don't know if he's doing that on purpose, but he might be better off just making them regular videos. You know what I mean? But maybe he doesn't want to deal with moderating them or something. I don't know. But I think he should. I gotta talk to him because I don't think he really understands. You know what I mean? He like just made it. But check out these fantastic slammers, old school slammers with googly eyes. By the way. Pinfish, we got a bunker head, so chopped up bunker, mini slammer, and then the Sadati flounder fly, which is sick. Cam Siegler, if you ever wanted to go catch a sailfish or marlin, he's probably the reason why the people are actually catching them. We've tied his flies. David Skoke, one of my favorite New England fly tires. I'm not going to show you guys everything because I don't even think I'm allowed to, but Chris Windrum, owner and operator saltwaterflies.com, one of my favorite tires. Awesome dude. You can see his flies here, right? He's got a cinder and whatnot. That, by the way, is kind of what I based one of my squid flies back in the day off of, that I would tie for a lot of local places for fluke, and they would like sell like crazy, but... beautiful fly here. This is the American eel that I based essentially it's the same fly. Now you see it's got the mono loop, it's got the lead dumbbell eyes, and the spun ram's wool head. Now he used a wide, thick zonker strip, and I talked to Chris. I was like, dude, I think I want to tie this fly for one of my videos, if it's okay with you, of course, just to be sure. He's like, oh, hell yeah, that would be awesome. He was telling me that it was pretty heavy. It was a great fly, looked great, but the combination of this giant rabbit strip and the ram's wool just made it really heavy, so it was kind of hard to cast. They're probably using it with a sinking line, and that's why it has this mono weed guard, so you could fish it and it's not going to be getting snagged. But so what I did is I put a flatwing tail with squimpish hair, and that's the most recent video that we did. Same thing, ram's wool, spun ram's wool head, lead dumbbell eyes on top. It's actually, I swam it in the swim tank. I couldn't get it to swim perfectly straight because it's a somewhat heavier, larger, it's just a larger fly. And my swim tank's kind of screwed up, like my little tube thing doesn't sit straight. But so it was swimming sideways, and because the hook is so large, right, it was like having a hard time swimming right. But you could see the tail wiggling, and oh my God, it looks so good. So I got to tie some more. Somebody actually was like, hey, can you tie me a couple of these? I was like, yeah, sure. But I got to tie some for myself, so... yo, what's going on? Oh my God. Scalvos, how you doing? There you go. That's a lot easier. I'm not even going to try. You got to tell me tomorrow. I'll see you at the fly show. I remember you're coming. Anathasio or something? I feel like I'm not saying it right. I'm going to get an official judge from him on my pronunciation. All right, let's keep tying. But you got both those books. Very nice. Yeah, the only other books I'd recommend are like Kenny Abrams stuff or the, what do you call it? Ray Bondaru's Stripers and Streamers. Also, Ed Mitchell. We'll probably cover some Ed Mitchell stuff. I have some more modern. Obviously, we got the, what do you call it? We got the more modern Bob Popovich's stuff as well, which are fantastic. And then I've got some more striped bass books that are a little bit more modern from like the 2008, 2010 sort of years, A lot of my books are though from like the 90s and stuff or older. But we'll probably cover some of these books on some YouTube videos one day because somebody should document some of these things. Because a lot of these are, very hard to find, or if you haven't been collecting them for a while, a lot of people might not even know about a lot of these books. So, because unfortunately I don't think you can buy a lot of them anymore. Do you get cobia? We get some cobia every once in a while. But it's not a very common thing, you know what I mean? Some people catch them by accident, essentially, from the inlet or beaches or from boats. I don't know if you can necessarily target cobia. But, all right, we're going to do a hollow collar here with a color. We got to pick a color. What colors do we want to use? We're kind of going 3-tone here. Maybe I'll use some of this yellow, actually. Now, this is different than regular squimpish hair, I believe. They're more like softer inner fiber sort of thing, but almost like alpaca hair, I want to say. We got the olive, we got the orange, so maybe I'll use a little bit of the orange and a little bit of this alpaca style. I forgot the name of this. It's like ultra soft squimpish hair. Yes, cobia do love eels. Fineo fishing wasn't, like, the big things he did was that he was a professional guide for cobia, and they'd be throwing eels on the surface for those cobia. I remember watching him do it on his streams, so. Eels are definitely like one of the most popular striped bass baits in general. Fishing live eels at night is what people use a lot of times. But yeah, I heard cobia love eels as well. So I'm assuming you could probably tie some eel flies for cobia. You definitely need to probably tease them up because you don't. Yeah, I mean, if you've ever fished a dead eel or a live one before, live ones are crazy. But if you've ever fished a dead eel on like a jig hook, the action is like unbelievable. Like it's crazy what it looks like in the water. So it's really hard to simulate that perfectly, but you can do the best you can. I remember there was a Irish gentleman who was using eel skin and making, like, sewing with, like, the eel skin. It was like eel leather almost. And, like, making... It was like the rear tail of the fly was like eel skin, essentially, or something like that. And then the front of the fly had feathers or something. I don't know. It was crazy. I don't know... Oh, where would I find that? It was in one of my books. Maybe it was in Lou Tabery's book. I gotta look that up. It might have been Lou Tabery's book. There's something about this Irish gentleman who was fly tying. He was using real eel skin in his flies. It was really interesting. It was like I gotta find that and post that on Discord or something, just because I'm so curious now. I'm pretty certain it was in Lou Tabery's Inshore Fly Fishing, the book I just showed you guys. Somewhere in the back, somewhere. I missed the start of this. What are you tying? Hey, Alan. We're tying a squimpish hollow. I'm going to a fly show tomorrow here on Long Island. I'm going to be tying that. So we're just tying some flies to kind of put on the table and show off. So we're just tying a hollow fly. I'm using a mix of natural material and synthetic material as well. So I'm probably going to tie a small amount of white bucktail on the inside of this. So I'm using some synthetic material, squimpish hair, which is a great alternative to bucktail. It's not bucktail. It's not trying to replace it, but it allows us to tie in similar ways. So we're blending a little bit of yellow with a little bit of orange here, and then I'll tie some white bucktail on the inside, very small amount for our hollow tie. Put that off to the side. Yo, Frosty, what's up? How you doing? What you been up to, huh? We can go ahead and fold it over and retaper it so we don't waste any material. And then I'm going to blend these. Some of this is a little long, so... You can see by the way, what I've been working on too. I've been working on Bob's banners, pink and white, and I've been working on my cinderworm flies that I tie for whitewater outfitters. So I got with a one package of deer belly. I got 23 of the heads done, and I have one left. So annoying. I was like, no, I should have just, like, I thought I timed it perfectly, like the right amount for the whole order, but I'm one short, so that's okay. I'll just pick some up next time I go. Just annoying, though. I thought I had it perfect. Let me see here. Let me like move the camera back a little. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't mean to jerk it so hard. There we go. And also let me know if it's out of focus at all. Okay, so now we can cut this. We want to make sure our ties are nice and neat here and even. So essentially make sure it's even top and bottom here. Because we do not want, if you end up tying it to where it's more far forward, top or bottom, when we go to fold it back, we'll see a noticeable, actually, let me we're going to tie some bucktail, so I don't want too much thread wrapping. I'll just wrap it to the correct area like that, and then that's good. Go with a small amount of bucktail here on the inside. It doesn't even need to be like the softest hair either. We're kind of just using this to kind of spring load the squimpish hair, if you will, slightly. I'm just tying a small amount. We're going to be getting all the shorter hairs out of the way. I could probably just tie it normally like this. You know what? I'm interested what that's going to be like if I just tie it like this. You know what I mean? Instead of tying it, because the next one we'll do with bucktail tied hollow tie on the inside. It's something I started doing recently. It's actually pretty cool. But I want to try what happens when I do this. I've never done this before. Because it's actually kind of, it's got some support. Oh, you know what? But then the thing about that is we have to make sure that that's something I didn't think about. We have to make sure that the excess doesn't stick past we have to tie it like perfectly on there. You don't want the excess to be sticking through when we fold back the squimpish hair. You know what I mean? This is interesting. I've never actually done this like this. I'm curious what this is going to look like. We'll kind of tie it on top instead of tying it the way the hollow was tied. Yeah, something like that. So you playing, what were you playing, 42? Battlefield 42 or something? What the hell are you doing on that, Frosty? What have you been up to recently, huh? You just been chilling? I guess we could always just tie it forward all the way, right? So we don't got to worry about the stubbles. But you know what? I'm kind of curious, right? I mean, I need to make sure it's tied equal, top and bottom. It's just kind of... That should leave me just enough room to do one more collar here. I don't know. We'll see. I might have should have done it a little bit further back so I don't have too much... I don't want to junk up the front of this too much. We're experimenting. It's not like it's going to revolutionize anything. I'm just curious in seeing how the bucktail interacts with this hollow tie and how it either helps it or changes how it looks, you know what I mean? My professional hollow tie tool. Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm not hating on it. We've been playing some Space Marine 2. We've been doing the 4 difficulties. We tried the 5th difficulty. Me and Garrett, we got absolutely destroyed. Oh yeah, I like this. Look at that. I actually really like that a lot, how that bucktail is on the inside. Because that kind of just fills it in slightly. And it also just kind of supports our squimpish hollow. I'm going to be honest with you, it's a little easier than tying the bucktail in hollow as well. Now, I don't know if the... It'll probably be better to have hollow bucktail if you're trying to... You know, if we hollow tie the bucktail on the inside, if we're trying to get a specific profile to it, right? We want it to be more exaggerated. But I do like that. That looks pretty nice. What I'd like to do, I like to just do a very small amount of super glue. I used to actually apply it to some of the hair as well. But now I just kind of apply it to the base. Now, somebody mentioned applying it to the inside of the fly. I don't know if it was recently or I went back on my old Squimpish video, which is doing good. It's got a bunch of views. And somebody said something about applying it to the inside when you fold it back, which was interesting. I don't think I've ever tried that. So we could do that. I believe that was from one of the older ones. But I essentially just, you can kind of manipulate it, right? Like, let's say we want it like this. Be careful here, but just a very small amount at the base. Squimpish hair, just whatever this is made out of, literally has a chemical reaction. If you took this fly and you coated, or you just took a bunch of squimpish hair and you dumped a bunch of super glue on it, it would like be like, after a little while, it'd start having like a chemical reaction and like hardening on itself. It's whatever they use for it. It reacts with the main ingredient of super glue, which is probably a cyanocrylate or whatever, right? So it actually, I used to apply it to some of the material itself, and it would have this like chemical reaction and it would harden it. And it would be pretty durable. Over time, it would wear away because, you know, it's super glue. Kind of just, it's not like a super strong structure that it created. It's more of like a shell, you know. But now I kind of just essentially apply it to the base of the material. But, yeah, so I've kind of chilled out with some of that. But David Nelson showed me that. It's pretty interesting because I've never used super glue and applied it to the material in that method, right? So it's definitely worth trying. You have to be very, 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 very careful, though. You don't want to apply too much, like a very small amount. All right, now I have some different colors. I'm going to let you guys vote. And by vote, I mean just type it in the chat. What sort of color should I use for the last collar here? And I'll show you. I have a majillion different squimpish hairs. There's a lot of essentially, let me zoom out. There is a lot of kind of tans and browns and caramels and grayish colors. We also have some purples, right? There's like some butterscotch, right? You can see all the different colors. So if you see something that looks interesting, I have a little bit of green, and then, so I would say something that's different. I have some black, purple, but the other thing I was thinking about, this is what I was leaning towards, is the olive. We'll probably do something like olive over this, I think, would look nice. But what do you think? I have some purples, like some blackish purples or darker purples, lighter purples, or I have some kind of caramel brownish, which also might look nice, right? If we go with something like this, for instance. Because I can blend them. We could do a blend where we take a couple colors. You know what I mean? What are we thinking here? What do we like? Let me show you the perp. Show you that perp skirt. Here's the lighter kind of lavender blend we have, which this could be pretty interesting as well. Maybe some of the lavender mixed with some of this kind of brownish color, tannish color. I also have some lighter colors as well, some darker stuff. You like that brownish? The official name, brownish. It's probably like caramel, butterscotch, butternuts, whatever that horse's name, right? From Half Baked. Yeah, let's how about this? We're going to take a couple different colors here and we're going to mix them together. That's what we'll do. Is what we shall do. So we'll take a pinch of this, a little pinch of that. We're going to go Gordon Ramsay on it. Get all the short hairs out of there. We don't want them. Again, if I say, I mean, I was just, if I really wanted to, I could probably have bags upon bags upon bags of like dubbing material. But I just can't be bothered. I already have so much stuff I've been holding on to for years. I don't want to end up on one of those hoarder shows. I have like 30 bags of Marabou dubbing that's left over from tying orders. But I do think about it sometimes. I'm like, man, I should probably be keeping some of this stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's too much. I don't do enough of that sort of tying to really make it plausible, you know? I already have enough crab body dubbing material and stuff that I have, EP, whatever. There's something to think about, though. For your average fly tyer that doesn't have like 30 years worth of fly tying material like I do, it's not the worst idea. If it's it's a color you like, something like this, you think you're going to use it a lot, just have a bag, like a little Ziploc bag that you keep on your table, and you just throw all that junk in there. So you don't have to go digging through your little waste basket like me or something, you know? If you got one of these things, I mean. Okay. So this looks pretty good. I like the taper. I like what we got going on. We're going to blend these colors. And, you know, we might even add some of the purple in there. Because I feel like we need some contrast to this. We need some color contrast to the caramel browns. I mean, we got that nice orange underneath, but I feel like there's got to be, we need some other color mixed in here. And I think this lavender is what we're going to do. Take a pinch. Something like that. We'll blend it in there. You can see I kind of just grab both colors and grab some of it and pull it. It would be funny. See, these are dumb because I would never get views and it would take too much time. But I would make a skit where it's like at the end of the fly show, the cleaning crew shows up for the like hotel, and there's just they're like there's squimpish hair everywhere. There's feathers. There's bucktail trimmings everywhere. God, what the hell's going on in here? Sort of a adult arts and crafts expo is this? Get these shorter hairs out of the way. That looks pretty good. Is it the right length? Yeah, I think so. Now I'm actually going to split this up. We are going to tie some bucktail on the inside too. I might need to blend a little more, but I'm just trying to get away with. I've been trying to go a little sparser on my squimpish flies too. Squimpish hair stuff. Because you really don't need too much. You know, really, I mean, it's personal preference, right? But really, I forgot who it is. Ted, I think, is somebody here on YouTube. We were talking about sparseness in flies. And what Ray Bondrew said once to him, he was talking about. And I was like, you know what? It's a good reminder every once in a while to go a little sparser. You know what I mean? Just try it out. Let me retie this. There we go. Make sure I have room here. Go ahead and tie this on. Yeah, we'll add some bucktail. I think we'll do the hollow like I was talking about. Right here. Let's shorten this ever so slightly. It's kind of, I'm like trying to, I always I'm trying to find a good balance for the live stream of you guys having a great camera angle. But it's also like, it's a little easier when it's higher up and back, right? Let me maybe do this so I can get closer, because especially for the live stream, and I have to definitely need to be comfortable. Problem is I like tying with the vise closer to me, so let me go ahead and like make sure I also don't smack my head on this camera. There we go. When I tie, I actually like to have the vise almost like turn towards me and off the table. I like having it really close because I got to make sure I sit up properly and I don't have my shoulders arched too far forward, because I have a lot of back issues. So when I it's a little awkward at times when I film, because when I tie when I'm tying not in front of a camera, I usually tie with the vise like very close to me almost. Okay, it's looking all right. I got to get that even first. Actually, we'll get it even. I don't want to put too much thread on there because we got to do our bucktail hollow. Brownish. Yeah, we'll hollow tie it. Why not? Should I add some more? That's like a pretty small amount of squimpish hair, I feel like. I mean, we are going to use some bucktail with it, but I feel like there still should be a little bit more hair on there. So I'm just going to actually just take a pinch of this caramel hair or whatever, this color. We'll just tie a little top and bottom. I feel like we should have a little bit more on there to even that out. I'm definitely going to have to vacuum after this. Whenever I'm done with a fly tying stream, my room is a mess. Not much trimming needed at the end with the longer hair. Are you talking about like, do we need to trim the fly when we're done? If that's what you're asking, no. The whole idea is we're tapering the hair by adjusting the length and slowly reducing the length, or keeping it the same length, however you want to tie the fly. But we aren't going to do any trimming at the end. Unless you meant something else. I'm just curious. Yeah. So it's not like a synthetic fiber, like maybe like Steve Farrar fiber, where you can sculpt it. You certainly can. But the whole idea is it's like we're tying a bucktail with this material. That's essentially how we're using it, right? So the whole idea is you shouldn't have to trim it at all. Because I was like doing that at first, but then you're losing that natural, because you don't want every fiber to end at the same spot, right? Let's say I took this and trimmed it right here. It would just not look very good when we fold it back. We want the material to naturally taper itself, so the colors and the different lengths of hair all blend together, so it creates this more natural appearance, as opposed to it looking like we took some material and tied it to a hook. You know what I mean? We're essentially trying to get the most realistic appearance. Not necessarily having a fish out of the water and the fly next to it, holding them side by side, but this fly in the water and how it interacts in the profile and the shape compared to something like a herring or something like that, right? But it's all personal preference. But yeah, we're essentially making it so we don't have to do any trimming at all. Did I tie some on top here? No, we got to tie a small amount. And you could do that with Steve Farrar fiber, Slinky fiber, and you just, when you tie it on, you just need to know at what lengths you're tying the material on. So you don't have to do any trimming, or you can reduce the amount of trimming that you're doing. You're also reducing the amount of waste, right, by doing that. So you can see I'm kind of testing the length before I cut it and put it on there. And the same thing like this, I'm kind of testing what it looks like when it'll be folded back. So you can see how it's not as long as the orange. It's like a little slightly shorter, but it's still quite long, right? We don't want it to end like here. You could certainly have the material end here, but I'm trying to have it so it like arcs up in that natural hollow fly. And we want the middle of the fly to have the kind of largest profile as a bunker or a herring would a medium-bodied or larger-bodied bait fish, right? And how the profile is like near the top and middle of the fly, it kind of has the largest profile. And a lot of those fish, they are pretty wide, for instance, but some of them are also quite thin, so you don't need it to be equally wide as you do need it to be tall for something like a herring, right? So we're kind of going for a larger profile top and bottom than we are on the sides. You can see with this, the hollow tie, I'm focusing most of the material on top and bottom. Because I could be tying some on the sides here, which I do at times. But right now, when we move up closer towards the end, I like focusing more top and bottom so we could build up that natural profile. Okay. Still not 100% convinced here that this is tied evenly forward, but we got to tie some bucktail, so... Kind of getting a little carried away here, but let's bang this fly out. Let's finish it. Go with a little white. I like using white all the time because it's just natural. A lot of larger bait fish, they're not like, you know, they're very monotone throughout the body and like silver and stuff. And near the top, you'll see the colors on the back of a bunker or something like that. You will see it on the sides, but you know, a lot of it is kind of silver, whitish color for the belly and body of these larger bait fish. So I kind of want an equal amount of bucktail. I'm just eyeing it up before I cut it off. Yeah, so I got to get up pretty early. I should probably, I don't really need to pack anything. I'm just bringing like a tote with material and my vise and all that and thread. But I'll get everything together tonight. I got to get up pretty early, eat and take a shower, and then I got to drive. It's probably going to take like close to an hour-ish to get there. So probably leave at like 7. That should be all right. But I shouldn't leave later than that. The only issue is like my sleep has been terrible recently. I went to bed at like 4 a.m. So I'm going to have to force myself to go to sleep somewhat early tonight. So somebody said something about now, you know, so we are using bucktail though, right? I don't really want to mess with the bucktail too much. But you know what? I will apply a very... Do we want to do this? Because I put bucktail on there, it's going to kind of screw up. I was talking about, you know, we'll wait till the next fly. I really want to try using the super glue on the inside of the hollow tie, a very small amount of it, right? So we'll do that on the next one because I'm afraid that I have a feeling that if we do that right now, it's going to mess with the bucktail too much for my liking. So, okay, let's fold this back. Might have been a little offset with my bucktail. I think I could have tied the top section a little bit more straight, but that's okay. Let me see. I'm going to do a test here to make sure that it kind of looks right. Gotta keep dropping my scissors. Luckily, my Fiskars are pretty, they're pretty hardcore. They're not even made for fly tying, so the tip stays pretty sharp. I don't need to worry about it. Okay. Is this even? Let's see. We're going to do a test here and fold it back. That looks pretty good. It is a little, you see how the top section is a little bit more far forward, so we got to wrap that bottom section a little more to evenly have them tied. Especially on the last collar, it's really important that they're even. Because, I mean, are the fish going to care? Absolutely not. Let me just get that straight. But for us, if you want it to be even, you're worried about your Instagram glamour shots, then you want to make sure they're tied even. I mean, I guess theoretically, if it was severely out of whack, it could affect the way the fly swims. But more than likely, it's not going to do that. Especially when we're using gigantic hooks. It's always important that the hook is large enough for the fly that you're tying in the amount of material, because it essentially acts like a keel. Like, imagine a sailboat. They have weight on the bottom to ensure that they sit upright. It's essentially the same thing with a fly. That's what the weight of the hook is. Sometimes we'll add lead wire to create a keel or to offset the amount of material, like the old Sadati slammers or Sadati slammers in general, because that was a fly that was invented before something like tying bucktail reverse and tying it back, you know, or to create these massive flies. So essentially we have this bucktail hollow tied underneath. It's going to really, this is where our thread dam in front is pretty important compared to a traditional squimpish hollow, because it's not anywhere near under as much tension. So we're actually going to have to build up this thread dam some here. And again, the same issue can happen when you're doing the thread dam if you're not tied even top and bottom. So I try to, you'll see sometimes I angle it slightly. So now the other thing is I am going to run this underwater and let it sit overnight. So I'll actually back this up some. I don't want to be too aggressive. I actually want this to have a pretty large profile, and then when I essentially let it dry and sit, it'll take its shape beautifully, because you want it to be under tension when it's in the water. It'll give you that larger profile, and that material will have that action that we're looking for. So it's really up to you how much you want to adjust it. But I probably should also do like a slight super glue at the base sort of deal. That looks pretty good, though. You see, essentially, once we run it underwater and let it sit, it's going to be sitting something like this. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah, I don't want to go overboard here. Do not want to go overboard. So, let's give it a brush. Let's brush it out. Let me keep adjusting this too, because it's still not close enough. My back's kind of... There we go. Okay. It's pretty good. Let's brush it out. Yeah, good call. I like the that brownish color. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That's beautiful right there. That's kind of exactly what we're looking for, right? Like, essentially, because I'm tucking this underneath like that, it's you got to be careful, especially if we applied any super glue. But this is kind of what we're looking for right here. You know what I mean? I'm going to apply a very small amount at the base. I mean, a very small amount. Not really to mess with it, just to kind of make it a little bit more durable connection right there. And we'll essentially kind of let the tension of the bucktail, you could see. Now, I will say, it does look like maybe I could have tied a little bit more white bucktail. It still is under tension, like that, right? Which is good. But I think a little bit more white bucktail to even out. It seems like this top has a little bit more spring to it. But that's okay. I'd rather have a little bit more profile like that on top than the bottom. But in reality, I think it's going to be fishing pretty good. That's essentially right where we want it. So we can go ahead and apply a little bit here. Make sure everything's looking good. Essentially something like that. Again, I pretty much almost barely don't even want it to... I don't really want it to get into the squimpish. Just want it to touch the base of the hair there, make it more durable. I gotta clean this bodkin off. This bodkin was doing all sorts of commercial tying. What I do to clean my bodkin off is take a pair of pliers, and I just go like this and break off the resin that builds up. That's what I do. What do you guys do to clean your bodkin off, to get the resin off? Don't use your scissors, okay? Number one rule, don't use your scissors. Sometimes I would take my old Fiskars and use them to clean it off if I was lazy and I didn't want to go look for the pliers. But I think the easiest way to clean off the resin off your bodkin is just take a pair of pliers. I use a cheapo bodkin that I had in an old fly tying kit since I was a kid. You know, you don't need anything fancy really. You can see I bent it over the years. I was using it to remount popper bodies, clean out holes. I bent it for different shapes to get into places and stuff. And there were many times that I've used a paper clip. Doesn't work as good, but if you got a large enough paper clip, you can literally just use that. You could take like duct tape, wrap it around the end, and you have a bodkin. I've done that before and used it for like months. So you can always do stuff like that. You don't have to buy anything too fancy. Go ahead and just kind of lightly hit that there. That's pretty good. That's where I like it. We could put some eyes on here, 3D eyes. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I need to get some, like, really nice, like a nice patch of jungle cock or something. But, because that's like the least intrusive way of tying eyes on a hollow fly, is some sort of natural feathers, right? Tab eyes are also an option. I just don't like tab eyes as much as other. But what we're going to do is the best alternative, I think, and it'll still, I mean, it's really durable. It's probably not as durable as UV resining the eyes on or using UV resin to create a head, but this is something that you learn, you know, working with bucktail natural materials or synthetics. If we start gluing the head here, we're going to ruin this profile. Like, there's no way you can't. And even if you don't, you're going to end up with a massive block of resin on here, right? There are certain ways you can do it, like even silicone, right? But we don't want to like really mess with the shape of it. And we already kind of have it kind of skinny on the sides on purpose because we're going for that larger profile. So something that works out well is using E6000 or Liquid Seal 6, I don't know what they call it. There's all these different names. But this is essentially what I use. You can get it at the hardware store in the US anywhere. It's like industrial strength shoe glue. I think it's essentially kind of like that, but it's an industrial strength adhesive. And this is what we use a lot. But there was also Zap-A-Gap makes a goo. Zap-A-Gap goo, I think it's called, or something. But this works really well. I've heard really good things about the Loctite version of this. But this is what I use. I can get it at the hardware store. It lasts for a long time. It's really durable. You want to use it into synthetic materials. Like when you have a synthetic head that this stuff can soak into and like essentially harden and get into the crevices of all this. It also works really good for deer hair. If you like have a deer hair head and you trim a circle like a pocket, you put a dollop of this in there and then you stick a 3D eye in there. It actually works pretty good. But so this is what we're going to use. The eyes will break off at some point, but this is like one that I've fished. You could see this is a Sodati Slammer with synthetic material. This I ripped out of my fly box. It's kind of beat up, but you could see the eyes were attached with E6000. And it's pretty durable. It works great. Over time, it will break off. Like, you could definitely break this off if you really wanted to. And if you catch, I mean, you catch like 30 big bass or something, the eyes might be broken. But a lot of times the fly's destroyed at that point anyway, right? So, anyways, personally, you don't even need to put eyes on here. Just fish it the way it is. It's probably it looks better, in my opinion, than putting eyes half the time. Because there's just something about that natural shape and profile that's not messed with at all that I really, really enjoy. But because eyes catch fishermen more than they catch fish, I'm going to put them on because I'm doing a fly show tomorrow. You know what I mean? We got the hologram eyes. Again, not the 3D eyes, but we're going to use them. Oh, I did actually get some stuff from saltwaterflies.com. Let me take a look. Did I get some nice... Let me see here. Hold on. I know I got 3D eyes. I just don't know if I got anything this high. I don't know why that... I don't know if you deleted... Can you delete your own comment like that? Because you misspelled something, or did YouTube do it? But, what's going on, Mark? How you doing? All right. You know what? Actually, that looks pretty nice. I kind of do want something bigger, but you know what? That works. I like it. What did I buy these for? Oh, yeah. For the 5 million roosterfish flies I need to tie coming up soon. I actually have somebody, they got to place this order because I, like... Oh, man, it's going to be a lot of flies I got to tie. So let me just, we're going to take a look, though. What's my other options? I do have these hologram eyes, which aren't 3D. Yeah, it's a little big. And then the one we just had, right? Yeah, which this is. These are 3/8. What are these? These are not 3/8. They're smaller, probably 5/16 or something. Honestly, I think the 3/8 is actually kind of like a perfect size, though, right? What do you think? Should I go with the 5/16 or the 3/8? What are we thinking here? I'll let you guys decide. Because that's, works out for me. I don't even need to worry about it. Larger or smaller? We got 5/16. I believe this is 5/16. Or we got 3/8. What are you guys thinking? What are we liking for this 5-odd circle hook squimpish hollow? I'll let you guys decide. We'll glue this on here in a little bit. Hey, Jen! Give it up.
Hey,
72
Mike
months.
Chat. 5/16.
5/16 it is. All right, in honor of our longtime moderator, Sir Jen. Thank you, my friend. 5/16 it is. Give it up, though. Round of applause. 72 months. Sub here on Twitch. Thank you, Jen. Appreciate it. Yeah, brother, check it out. We got, man, we're doing 5 videos a week. Or 4 videos a week, so. So these are real 3D eyes, by the way, from saltwaterflies.com. You can see the difference in the mold and how they actually stick out. I got super mad one stream, and I was like, man, these waspy hologram eyes aren't even 3D. And somebody was like, yeah, because it doesn't say 3D. They're just hologram eyes. I was like, oh. I was like, man, these waspy eyes suck. They barely have any profile to them. So, yeah, true. I guess the hologram eyes aren't supposed to be 3D eyes. So I like 3D eyes for this sort of thing, though. Apply some here. I like to apply some to the back. And then I can push it down forward like this. And we want to ensure that the glue soaks down into the base almost by the hook shank. So there we go. I got a little glue on the eye. That's okay. I can clean that off. It's just try not to do that because it sometimes is very hard to clean these eyes off. Bass on the horizon. What's going on, Death Adder? Long time no see. How you doing? I hope everything's going well. Yeah. Well, to be fair, we weren't really streaming that much, Jin, but now I'm putting a lot more time and effort. So we're streaming once a week every Friday, and I'm cranking out YouTube videos, so I'm pretty busy. but I'm trying to stick with it. Even if, for instance, we're going to start going oystering here soon. I'm going to make sure Fridays we know that, like, we got to, I'm streaming at like 6 o'clock or 6:30, for instance, so we got to be back or something. Not that we'll be out that late, but I'm going to have to juggle. But I'm trying to make sure that, what do you call it? We're pretty much just going to be doing some like simple clamming and oystering, nothing crazy. Waiting on the stripers? Hell yeah, brother. Should be soon now. It'll probably be like the first week or into the second week of April is usually when I start catching my first fish. There we go. Make sure those are pressed down. Now I will need to come back and press those eyes down in probably about 20-30 minutes because they expand. But that's part of how the gluing works. And then I'll wet this and let it dry hanging up, and then we'll have this beautiful profile like this. So that's why I didn't want to apply anything to the actual material, right? Because I don't want to like screw up this shape. We want it to be under tension. That's kind of the whole beauty of it. But I mean, look at that. Let's get a zoom in here. This looks great. And you can see too, like, look, we did our first tie in white, right? Then a second collar in white. Then we took orange and yellow and blended that together and hollow tied it, but used bucktail on the inside to help support it. And then on the last tie, we took some lavender as well as some different browns, kind of caramel colors. And this time we hollow tied bucktail on the inside so in a single tie, squimpish, and then on the inside hollow tie in one tie, which I kind of like. That's kind of how I do it now. And you see how see how there's that bucktail hollow tie on the inside there, that white hollow tie? It's essentially providing that support for us. Again, in the water, this is going to taper down. It's going to be something like this more than likely. If it's like you're fishing in current and you have tension on the line, the second you take the tension off the line and it's naturally swimming, it's probably going to be something more like this, kind of moving around like this, right? So, but there we go. I'm tying these so I can bring them to the fly show tomorrow. If you're on Long Island tomorrow, come out. I'll be at the Radisson, I think it is, in Hop Hog, the Long Island Fly Show. You can look it up. Long Island Fly Show. I think they even have a website, but everybody has Google nowadays, so you can figure it out. But I'll be there tomorrow tying, so I figured we need to tie some cool-looking flies just to have on the table. Motor Parkway? Yes, I believe. Where the hell's my phone? I'll tell you. I'm out east, so I don't know anything about that area. But, yeah, I'll tell you the exact details. It is at 110 Vanderbilt Motor Parkway. It's the Radisson Hotel in Hop Hog. From San take Sagittos to the north, 495. Gotcha, yeah. All right, luckily I don't need to bring too much. Wait, do I gotta bring... Okay, no, they'll be okay, good. I was like, don't tell me I gotta bring a tablecloth. It's a great show? Yeah, it's a good show. I've worked it in the past. Obviously we had the forbidden COVID incident for a couple of years, which that stopped the show. And I was going to do that show and have an actual booth, but then it got canceled. And I used to I have a full booth, for the full price and sell flies and stuff. But right now, today, this show, I'm just going there to tie flies. So I'm just going to be one of the tiers at the show. So they said I could sell flies that I tied that day. So I'm not necessarily too worried about selling flies. I'm just there to show face and see a bunch of folks I haven't seen in a while and spread the good word of our YouTube and Twitch streams and videos. So it's nice, though. I get to see a bunch of people. I get to see North Island Fly, who is Dave Flanagan, Captain Dave Flanagan, fantastic captain, friend of mine who I haven't seen for a while. Probably see Sergio Diaz, who's a well-known fly fisherman out here, does a bunch of videography work. I've fished with him many times over the years. Just a bunch of people I haven't seen for a while, so it'll be good to catch up. We'll see, maybe in the future I'll have another booth and, sell a bunch of flies. But, to be honest with you, I don't ever like, in doing these shows, I never blow out, right? And sell a million things. But so to be honest with you, it's like it's almost better for me to just go there and tie and hang out and chit chat. But we'll be repping Squimpish flies. I got my new Squimpish shirt they gave me. I'll show it to you guys before the end of the stream. And then I got a bunch of Squimpish stickers as well as, like little cards that I'm going to be writing so you could use like LI Flies mic for 15% off or whatever. Again, the only thing I get from Squimpish flies from that they give me is just some material and like some merch sometimes, just because we've been tying under their pro staff, if you will, since the material came out. So I was actually lucky David kind of sent me the material before he even released it, so I got to help test Squimpish hair before it was released. So we've been tying for them for a long time, and they're just a great company. I love David Nelson. He's just one of my favorite tyers. So, and the Squimpish, style is and all that. And he's just an awesome dude. So the folks that run Squimpish flies are fantastic. So I love, preaching the good word. And the thing is, not everybody can afford. I can't afford fantastic. Like I can't afford $20 bucktails to tie hollow flies all the time. So if I can find nice bucktails at my local fly shop, I'll like sift through the bucktails, take them out, and obviously go through and look. But it's like it's really hard to reliably order good bucktails, so it's nice to be able to have an alternative. Here we go. You want 14, 16-inch hair? Like there you go, right? And then all you do is you just mix it with bucktail. So you still get some of the beneficial properties of bucktail, like the springiness, because this is a much softer material than bucktail, right? If I show you this, it's definitely much softer. It's not like craft fur. It's stiffer than that. But if I show you compared to bucktail, like this has much more springiness to it, right? And all this stuff affects how you tie the fly, how it swims. So, but I've been doing a lot of blends with the Squimpish stuff recently. I'm enjoying it. So I always love tying this stuff. Is it like ever going to be a alternative to just bucktail? No, right? Because bucktails, you can't replace bucktail. There's just no replacing it. But it's all good. You know what I mean? It's nice to have something that can come close that you can use in the same techniques, right? But so thank God for Squimpish hair, because like bucktail's so expensive nowadays. Like, oh my God. Like even these bucktails are probably like $14, $13 a piece. And like, I mean, it's nice, but this isn't, not anything too crazy, right? Yeah, or you could keep a pair of dikes or pliers in your car and drive around during the rut and before the road cleanup crews come around. Not that I'm saying you should do any of that or not, because I don't even know if that's legal. Like, I don't know if a DEC officer saw you doing that. He would say, probably wouldn't, right? He'd probably just be like, what the hell are you doing, dude? But you can do that, and I've done it. I'm not saying what it is because I don't know. There's probably statute of limitations, but again, it was like you get the DC's like, yeah, caught this weird guy again. He's cutting all the tails off these dead deer on the side of the road. He was sniffing it too before he put it in a bag, drove away. But I'm gonna be honest with you, it is fair game, right? Yeah. Like I know though, like I don't think you can cut off like antlers or like. I don't think you could cut the head off a dead deer you found on the side of the road and mount the head. I'm pretty certain you can't do that. At least I think you can't. But they've given you one you've hit. There you go. I guess it depends on the officer too. You know what I mean? Because most of the time they're all pretty chill dudes. Now the Suffolk County park rangers though, that's another story. I've had one story where I was dragging a deer out of the woods, and I was miles back, and I had to drag a 200-pound deer by myself through the woods. And they left a note, and it was like written in like the most, like it was written like a 5-year-old wrote it, and it was like, next time I'll arrest you if you're in the woods at night. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, what is this? I'm like, and I was dragging a deer, and I guess because it was like I was 5 minutes late after sundown, but I was like, so I went and I found the Rangers parked at a different park because it was on my way home, and I was like, did you guys leave this on my thing? Because they probably thought like they were about to shoot me because I was like, I pulled up to them and they were parked in a dark area in the park that's closed, and I was like, hey, what's going on? So they're probably like, what the hell is this guy doing? I like sniffed him out. I found him. And I was like, what's going on here, dude? I was like, I was like, maybe like 5 minutes late, but I was like, yeah, it says like, you're going to arrest me or give me a ticket. He's like, yeah, you can't be out there, this, that. And his partner was like, he was like, okay, like everybody chill sort of thing, And I was like, dude, I was dragging a deer out of the woods. And what I learned from DEC officers when I took my hunting ed course, they said, I don't care what you do. You get that deer, you gut it. I mean, you can pull it away from where you, like, if you don't want other deer to, like, obviously smell the guts and stuff, but they're like, you need to gut that thing and get air exposing that, like, inner chest cavity as soon as you can so the meat doesn't go bad. You just want to essentially gut it, bleed it as fast as you can. So, you're harvesting deer. You want to make sure that you don't have any of the meat go bad, this, that. So they were like, just like, and I was like, oh, what if it's the DEC guys, when I took the course, they were like, don't even worry about it. Just get the deer out of the woods. You don't want that thing to sit out overnight, 70 degrees. These guys were like, just leave the deer. You come back in the morning. I was like, it's like 75 degrees in October because it was super warm in October. And I was like, not for nothing, dude, but I was like, this thing's like, I want to get that thing gutted as soon as possible. That's what I learned in my hunter's ed course. They said, like, as long as it's not on somebody else's property, like, you, like, gut that thing. But it was interesting. It was an interesting interaction. His like partner was nice and kind of diffused it, but that guy was like super pissed off at me for dragging that deer out like 5 minutes late. It was just interesting. But every DEC officer I've ever met, New York State DEC officer, has been absolutely fantastic. I've never had any issues. I usually am like, yo, let me get your card. So if I see somebody poaching, what do you call it? Like poaching small striped bass, or if I see corn out in the woods, like you're not allowed to hunt with corn because that's one way you can get that chronic wasting disease spread to other states. There's just all sorts of things. I'm usually like, dude, let me get your card. And most of the Suffolk County officers are nice too, but that one time I had that experience, man, I was like, God, that was so annoying. Meanwhile, you can go there at dark before sunrise and go into the woods. And they don't mess with anybody. But if you're there like later, there's like maybe there's a connotation with poaching or something. But it's like, I don't know. We're here on Long Island. Nobody's doing that right where I was. But I'm a lawn dog. They're always on us. Most are cool though. Yeah. Now I've never had really many issues. That was the only issue I've ever had hunting was with and it all worked out. You know what I mean? The other time I had a dude walk up to me. Sorry, we're kind of just chit chatting right now, but this is the part of the stream where we chit chat for a little bit. I was hunting Suffolk County parkland, and some guy walks up underneath the tree stand where I'm hunting, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, this is where I hunt. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I don't know. He goes, look. And he had a tree stand with the pegs that you hammer into the tree, which, I mean, a lot of people do that, but you're not allowed to do that in Suffolk County. You're essentially not allowed to, like, cut branches, and you're not allowed to drill things into trees because they don't want the trees to die, right? That's just how the parkland is. And he had a tree stand like 40 feet up in the air with those pegs. And he's like, you didn't see that? And I was like, no, I didn't see that. I'm like, you're a psycho. You're climbing that thing like that? And he's like, yeah, this is where I hunt. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And he just stood there, and I was like, so what do you want me to do? He's like, well, look. And he could tell I was like, dude, what are you doing, bro? Like, you couldn't have waited till after or something? And he realized, he was like, oh, well, look, I'm sorry, but, you can use that tree stand. But you just need to, like, let me know, because this is where I hunt. And you parked somewhere farther away. I parked closer, so I should be hunting here. Even though I parked at a spot that you're supposed to hunt somewhere else, but it's I used it to walk here. And he was just talking to me, and I was like, all right. I just started climbing down. He's like, whoa, no, you're good. And I'm like, dude, like, you just blew the whole day for me. I'm like, what do you want me to? I'm sorry, I'll go somewhere else from now on. Clearly, this is your spot. Maybe you're poaching with crossbows or something. I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. Okay, cool. So I was like, whatever. That was the last time I went there because it just wasn't worth it, I've had people climb into a tree next to me while I'm hunting, like 2 trees over, and they didn't see me. And it was funny because there was no deer around. This guy, I'm sitting, it's like 30 minutes before dark, right? And this guy I see him walking. He's making all this noise, carrying his compound bow and his tree stand. And he walks to like a tree, and I'm like trying to whistle and like get his attention that I'm literally in a tree above him. Doesn't see me, this and that. And so then like he starts climbing the tree like 2 trees over from me. And I was like, you know what? I just sat there and watched, and I was just like laughing the whole time. He just didn't see me, right? But he got all the way up to the top of the tree, and he still didn't see me. And I was whistling like, still nothing. So I waited till the end, and then when I started climbing down, he could hear something, but it was like getting dark. And again, you got to get out before dark, otherwise those county guys might come for you. And at that point, he like saw me, and he was like, "Oh my God, I am so sorry." And I was like, "Dude, don't even worry about it." I was like, first off, like, you got to look up every once in a while, all right? But the other thing is, I was like, "How did you?" I was like, "That's all right." I was like, "I didn't see any deer. It was just kind of funny, if anything." But then we all kind of chit chatted at the end by the cars. But I've had some different interactions that were pretty funny. But there's a lot of people that hunt in Long Island, and you end up, sometimes there's a lot of people in one area that you got to deal with. That's why I try and get out of the busy spots, but it's kind of hard sometimes. I've got some real good ones. No morals for roadkill hunters. I clip numerous tails at work. Hell yeah. Definitely pine barren hunting on top of each other type vibes. Yes. Exactly. All right, let's take a quick little break here. We're going to tie one more fly. What time is it? 8? Yeah. Well, how long we'll tie one more fly. So we'll take a quick little break here. Maybe we'll try and speed through one. What should we tie next? I'm just going to go to the bathroom here for a sec, but I'm just thinking, or in a sec. I'm not taking a piss right now while I'm sitting here. We got the squimpish hair out. I think we should try and tie like a smaller version of this fly, because that's something that I've been trying to work on, is tying smaller squimpish hollows and find the right proportions. So that's probably what we'll do. We'll probably scale down the hook to like a 3-aught, maybe a 4-aught or something like that. Yeah, I like that. All right. So we're going to take a quick little break. I'm just going to go grab a drink. I'm running out of water here. Use the restroom. Stretch my legs real quick. I'm working on a new video to play for quick little 2-3 minute breaks. I have a ton of footage of filming swim tanks, so we'll probably have a swim tank compilation here. So we don't need to watch the Albie video for the millionth time. I will say, though, every time I watch this video, it gets me hyped for Albie season. So I'll be back here in just a moment, and we'll tie some more squimpish flies. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Stay tight, all right? Yeah, keep it tight. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Aiden. Knuckle buster. Are you good? Do you need me to do anything?
Yeah, I might need a ride. Yes.
Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna turn now.
I'm gonna try and get on the valve.
Yeah, get on the valve. All right, you're doing good. Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna move us away.
Is that a little one?
No, that's a nice one.
Oh, let's go!
Come here, close next to Allie. Good job.
That's sick.
Nice.
Let's go! Woo! Albie slap!
Good job, dude.
Yee!
Looking down the barrel of a 12 gauge little tuny, bro. On the albacore too. All right, and we're back. Quick break. So, let's tie another Squimpish Hollow here. A couple more flies to bring to the show tomorrow. All right. So, let me see here. Let me move some of this stuff. Oh man, I'm gonna have to clean after. Always making a mess while I'm streaming. Let me see. Smaller sized hook. That could be a good size. One odd big game's a little small. I do have 2 odds. Fortunately, I don't think I have any 3 odds. You know what? I'm gonna use one of these Eagle Claw 254 4 odds or 3 odds. I kind of like this hook, honestly, man. It's kind of a nice. I might use a little lead wire to put a keel on keel on here. Oh God, I couldn't talk for a sec. Keel on heel. There we go. The Rhode Island Albie season was a no-go. So was ours, Mark. Past couple years have been absolutely terrible. Last year they showed up for a day, I think it was. They stayed out in 120 foot of water, so tuna guys saw them all the time. They were very finicky. They never came inshore. Apparently, they were all up in the sound and like very deep water as well. So it's been terrible, the inshore albie fishing. And I do a lot of I tie a lot of albie flies, so definitely has not been good the past couple years. Size 22. Okay, well you can go and screw right off, Jen, with that. But the smallest hook we go around here is a size 6. Maybe a size 10 for steelhead, but the boys actually they wanted to go. I was like, man, we should go steelhead, and again they were like, this year. I was like, nah, probably next year. I was like, right now, pretty broke at the moment, so not really any funds to go trip to the tailwater, but I'm thinking maybe next winter we might go up for steelhead again. Heard there was a pod near Block 2 weeks of December. They were huge. Damn. Yeah, I don't know what is going on. I really hope we get some inshore albie fishing again. If my boat was fixed, I mean, maybe we could go out there and get them, but like, you know, even with that, we mostly fish inshore, like a mile or 2 off the beach. Maybe the furthest 8-10 miles you find them doing that feeding, but like really we should be like within half a mile of the beach catching these things. But I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it gets better. There's larger bonito showing up. For years we never had any bonito on the South Shore, and if we did, they were, I don't know, like a quarter of a pound, half a pound. So we're actually starting to see some larger ones, particularly in the Sound. I'm really hopeful we see like 5 to 6 pound bonito in the South Shore. I've never caught like a proper sized bonito ever. So maybe we'll start getting some big bonito. Your best steelhead trip in November one day, landed 10 lower fly. Nice. You go the first week of November. Yeah, we always went in March or we went in March and December. What do you call it? Are you dealing with all the salmon guys still then? You are, right? That's one of the things we don't want to do is mess with those salmon guys because I'm sure the river gets crazy, but maybe some point we should go up there and try that. The other thing is we want to actually go up there in the spring talking to Dr. Spay was his name, who was like hanging out with the owner of Matilda's. And my buddy like really got in touch with him and they were like talking. And he said in the spring is a good time because I want to swing. I want to swing flies. I don't want to nymph. I've caught them nymphing. It's fun, but it's kind of boring in my opinion. I want to catch them on the swing. So we might go in there in the spring. But I'm assuming probably earlier in November too. They're probably, you can get them on the swing, right? Stones crawling in the snow. Yeah, Craigarol, who's watching on Twitch, I don't know if he's still here. He just was up there, and he got his first fish the other day, and there were stone flies crawling out of the water. So whenever I went up there, I would just tie like a purple or black nymph bug-looking thing and high stick it, and as like a little stone fly nymph or something. And that's usually what I'd catch them on. That or egg-sucking leech type fly. And I'm not really a freshwater guy, so. But there's a couple spots that it seems like every time I go to this spot in the lower fly section, it's near the border of the upper fly section, but it's just loaded. It's freaking loaded. Oh, we'll have to try and go there in November. No salmon guys. Okay. We've only gone up in early December for my birthday one year. Other than that, it's always been later in the year. So I will say there's this one spot that it's like every time I go there, I just dead drift some nymphs or high stick them, and it's like I hook like 20, 30 fish. The problem is landing them, right? That's crush zone? Okay, gotcha. It's in, if you go back in one of my videos, you could see it, and I'm sure if you know it, you know it, but yeah, there's like one spot there. It was like if I could figure it out and I could hook like that many fish, my reel was freezing. You know, I had people comment on the video. They're like, man, you didn't use these cheap Chinese reels. Your reel wouldn't freeze. I'm like, I'm broke, all right? I'm using my pot cast fly reel. My bad, okay? I'm not used to freezing fly fishing, all right? You're talking to a commercial fly tire. We don't really live on the upper echelon of society financially. We'll throw a little flash in here. I actually have a Squimpish dubbing brush. I might use it on this fly. Flies and fins. Oh, dude. I've been watching Flies and Fins. Jeremy. I've talked to Jeremy on Instagram. He's a very nice... I told him... what do you call it? His videos and his music inspired me a lot when I was younger because he had his website, Flies and Fins. But Fat Nancy, Rat Race was my favorite, where they were catching bluefin tuna. I told him that. I used to listen to that all the time. Fantastic song. Jeremy Cameron Music, I think, is his second account on Instagram. But he's very cool. Yeah. If you're old school like me, which it sounds like you are, Mark, early days, I mean, that was like 2014 too, so I guess that's not, I mean, that was early days of what, like YouTube, he was making videos. But I mean, dude, I've been the first ever fly tying form. It wasn't even a form, it was a website where you could submit a photo of your fly and say how it was, describe the pattern. It was like the first online fly database. It was like back in the late 90s or something like that on dial-up, or early 2000s. I forgot the name of the website. But yeah, dude, there's like, if you go back and if you can find maybe in like Wayback Machine, I don't know if they have this stuff, but Ken Abrams RLS, or what was it, stripermoon.com was an amazing website. That at some point got infested by bots or something, and was like it was like such an archaic like form system. It's like a piece of internet history, some of these things. But and then you still got saltwaterflies.com. Saltwaterflies.com has had like the same UI since like dial-up days almost, but it works. I've talked to Chris about it. I was like, man, maybe, like, there's probably something to be said about updating, but I mean, he's had his website layout the same way for so long that it's like there's a charm to it. You know what I mean? The good old days of going to saltwaterflies.com, place an order, getting a got backing sticker in the mail for your bumper. If anyone remembers the got backing bumper stickers you used to get in bright chartreuse with green lettering. Or green letters. No, it was bright green with black letters. Yeah, that's what it was. Classic. Oh, thanks for handing it out, Mark. Appreciate it. We'll see you again. All right. Let's go ahead and do... I think this time we're going to do a hollow tie here because... all right, I got to find it, but I do have a dubbing brush somewhere. Squimpish dubbing brush. Now, where would that be? We don't have to use it, but I found it recently. I was like, you know what? I kind of really want to use this thing. I know. I think I put it off to the side. We'll see. Yep. Good old days. Going to the public library and renting a fly tying book. Man, I can't even tell you the last time I went to a library and like used their... Remember the old systems they used to have? They were like computers, but they were like not computers. I know, Jen, we've talked about this before. Those old like pre-computer computers where you could like type stuff. It had like the green and like screen or something. Essentially, it was like green letters. I forgot the name of that system or whatever. Isn't that like what libraries used to use? Where it wasn't really like a computer, but it was a one of those operating systems or something to look up all the books. Usenet, is that what it was called? How did you do on the giveaway on YouTube last week? We picked a winner. It's I'm gonna announce it in a video. Because I recorded me picking the winner, but we did good. I don't know. I think we had I think there were 18 comments. Is what it was. I found it was like pickauser.com or something like that. And you just paste the URL for the video and it goes through and picks the comments out. And just, so if there's any doubles or whatever. So I think there was 18 comments is what it was. And I'll read you the comment that won just as a little, let's see. Where's my phone? I believe it was Jaron, who I responded to his comment, but I need to, I'm going to announce it in a video. Oh, let me look it up real quick. I'll tell you what the person said. Because it was interesting. Let's see. Jaron2834. Nice action on this fly. Reminds me of some tube fly streamers I have in my very long fly box. LOL. Not your standard fly box. Just saying. The finger emoji, skirt with a sunglasses and then thumbs up. Cowabunga, is that the correct term? What's the terminology for this? You. How would you describe that? I don't even know what the name for that hand signal is. Surfer, you, like that. It was a computer. Oh, so it was a computer, but it was all command line interface. No mouse. Yep. Yeah, I don't think we had a mouse, right? Yeah, this was we had a Windows 95 or whatever those first Windows, or not first, but the early. Was Windows 95 the first one? Probably not, right? But maybe the first mainstream one. That's the first one I remember. Remember my mom got a computer. We were like, ooh, ah. So fancy. All right, we are going to hollow tie this, and we'll do some bucktail on the inside. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to see if we can tie this all in one shot and just spread it around. Let's see if we can get it. Sometimes you can do it. Depends on how much thread you have. I don't have that much thread on here, so I think we can kind of tie it and then just spread it around pretty evenly. Yeah, pretty much just like that. There we go. That works. I can always add more if I need to, but I'm gonna, like I said, trying to keep it kind of sparse, and plus we have bucktail on the inside, so there's no reason to go crazy. Excuse me. All right. Yeah, if you are coming to the Long Island Fly Show tomorrow out in Hop Hog, stop by, say hello. I'll be there tying, just handing out. Be handing out, tying, chit-chatting. So the funny thing is, I'm not going to lie, I actually thought it was Sunday. Like, I got confused for a little bit. I was telling my buddies, I was like, yeah, we're going to play some Warhammer tomorrow. And then, like an idiot on Instagram, I was like, all right, I'll see you guys on Sunday. And somebody's like, you know, it's Saturday, right? I was like, oh my God, thank God. Because in my head, I'm almost certain previously the Fly Show was on, Long Island one was on a Sunday. Maybe I'm dead wrong. And I just thought it was. But there was a small chance, because I'm sure I would have figured it out at some point. There was a small chance that I genuinely would have thought it was Sunday and not showed up. So shout out to somebody on Instagram for pointing that out to me. Hopefully I would have figured that out, but you know, let's be honest. There's a world where I don't. And that would have been hilarious yet very disappointing. They'd be like, man, Mike's a real jerk. You know, he said he was going to come and do this, but... yeah, sorry about that, fellas. You know, I'm going to do a little hollow tie here on the inside. We did a little bucktail regular. I'm going to go a little bucktail hollow. Yeah, there was a chance that I would have missed it yesterday. There was definitely not a 0 chance. There was a percentage. I woke up, I was like, man, it's Sunday, right? Meanwhile, I'm almost certain I saw it was Saturday multiple times, but your brain works in mysterious ways, you know? Go ahead and tie a little bit more on the belly here. I think I am going to look for that brush. I'm going to see if we can use that brush. Good old dubbing brush. I don't think Squimpish Flies will be there, so I'm going to try and rep the good name of Squimpish Flies for them. That's why we're whipping up some of these bad boys. What time is it? Almost 8:30. We'll be done with this soon. I gotta try and go to bed earlier today. I've been staying out pretty late. I've been having a hard time sleeping at times, but I gotta fix my sleep schedule. I've been staying up, like, editing videos and stuff pretty late at times. See if we could find somewhere to weave that. You know what? We could always just brute force it. I'm going to find this dubbing brush because I genuinely want to use it. It's been a while since I've used a Squimpish brush. Just got to make sure I spread that hair around so it's even. Build up my thread dam here. I'm actually going to back it off. You see, that's pretty extreme. if you want a more controlled shape. But if I back it off, see, as I back it off, that tension actually opens up. So that's a good example of tying hollow flies right there. Let me see if I can find this brush. Let's see if did I put it somewhere? Or is it still... Give me 1 second. I'm gonna see. I'm pretty certain I know where this thing is. It might be there. Is it here? No, I think I know where it is. Aha. There's one. This isn't the same color, but that is a Squimpish dubbing brush that I've made in the past. I think I have another one now, so. Yeah. 1 second. I know where the other one is. Ugh. So many boxes of material in here. Is it here? All right, well. All right, well, we got one. I know I had a green one, but unfortunately, I just don't know. Oh. Haha! So I do have this one as well, which this is a mix of EP fiber and Squimpish hair. Like, I think I took all the trash Squimpish hair from my bin, and I used this. Maybe we'll do a wrap of this at the front. It's kind of like falling apart, this brush. Let's use the gold one. I got to make some more brushes. I think I'm going to break out my dubbing brush table here soon. I need to fix it. I actually broke one of the posts. So I got to fix it. But I'll make a video probably where I'm making a Squimpish brush and we'll like blend some material. Something I haven't really done is use bucktail in a dubbing brush. And I think I want to try bucktail and Squimpish hair. Maybe even like you could like put ostrich hurl in there, you know, or something. I mean, it's not that durable, so I don't know how that would work, but. Okay. Give me a second. Sorry, my stupid headphones. Okay. I'm using headphones from like 2014 right now. I'm not even joking. Like not even 2014. It was probably earlier than that. All right. I'm going to try this brush out. Let's see how this works. I haven't used this in a while. I made this like years ago. You know what would be cool is if you had something like Rhea that you could also, I think this brush is like falling apart. Some Rhea that you could wrap at the same time, you know what I mean? That would be pretty cool. I'm going to go with a very, very, very small amount of super glue here. Yeah, I think this brush is like untwisting, falling apart, but we're going to use it. You can see here, I probably didn't put enough material on this brush from the looks of it. So we're just going to wrap this a couple times to get past this little bare spot. This is kind of early on in me messing around with making my own dubbing brushes. Sometimes it looks like it's a lot of material until you actually start spinning it, because you're going to lose some of the material when you make a brush. So you can see here, this one's probably a little bit thinner than I would like it, but let's try it out. I also figured out too that I was like a little afraid at the start to make brushes with longer hair, but I think you want to use longer hair. Like you want hair that's like that long, I think, when you're making these dubbing brushes. It's a little bit different than your standard dubbing brush, I feel like. But I think that's how you play to the strengths of Squimpish hair. I do want to wrap a little bit of that green, so I should probably stop. We're going to brush this out. It's looking a little weak, not going to lie. I think this brush was falling apart, so. But we'll brush it out. Let's take a look. Oh, I got to stop banging the camera with the brush here. It's not too bad. I definitely, what do you call it? I definitely want to make some more brushes. This is kind of early on in my dubbing brush career, if you will. So let me see what we got going on over here. Sort of chaos am I dealing with this thing? What the hell do we got going on over here? Yo, Brew. Thank you, my friend.
Lifliehi.
Lifliehi. That's right. Whatever sort of Masonic tons are AI ladies talking. Thank you, Brew. Appreciate it, my friend. 62 months. Sheesh. 62 months. Unbelievable with the tier 1. Thank you, Brew. I can't thank you enough. Jin, Doc, all you folks, Craggle Roll, you people that have been supporting the channel for a long time. Thank you, my friend. How you doing? Actually gonna, can we like, there we go. I believe, didn't I just send you some flies? Did you get your flies? I think I sent you some. Did I? Who was the winners? Or was that a while ago? You got some. You guys have won so many times. Oh no, I gotta see, I didn't write it down, but I gotta check who won from last week I have to ship out. I shipped out Jin, Supra, and AR. That's who it was. Yes. I gotta go to the post office for Doc, specifically. But I gotta see who won last month. I gotta double check. I don't think I wrote it down. I gotta check the VOD. I gotta ship that out probably this coming next week. I'll probably go. Sorry, I didn't mean to get your hopes up there. You've won so many times. It's hard to keep track, you know? I got to see who won. Does anyone remember that? I got to go back and look in the VOD. I never wrote it down. I think we were slamming back some White Claws that day. Building some rods? Hell yeah, dude. You just put the last coat on the latest build? Nice. Yeah, I saw some of the stuff you posted on Instagram. It's been looking great. I think that was a while ago, but I take a peek every once in a while. Oh, I know. Gabe. I think Gabe won, didn't he? Yeah, Gabe won, and do I have it? I probably do have it written down. I just have a million Post-its here, like an idiot. Oh, yeah, February. Gabe and I never wrote the sub one down. So I got to look and see who was the sub winner on last Friday. If any of you guys remember, I never wrote that down. All right, I got to go back and look. I'll have to ship that out. All right, I got to work on my dubbing brush skills. This was early on, all right? Still a totally fishable and usable fly right here. I actually kind of like it. Not the profile I was going for, but I mean, that's not too bad. This is like something you could throw if they're on like sardinas, right? Or the thinner herring that you find. How about, though, what if we just take some squimpish hair and tie it on top? Should we do that? Yeah, let's do that. Let's try that. Why not? Just a little bit. Maybe in a shorter length. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I posted most of the flies from the 13th annual fly swap to the Discord. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. I saw on your Instagram. I was checking it out. Jin. Look like you guys are having a good time. But very cool. I'll take a look after the stream. Oh, you know, we could take a look before the end of the stream. I'll take a look on Discord. What am I thinking? I have screen capture. Is this the right call? I don't know, but I'm doing it. That actually kind of looks pretty cool. I kind of like it. Maybe we just do top and bottom and leave the sides the way it is. First for us to do it at a public venue, I saw. I know you guys are getting big. Hot shot. You guys got some food, some beer. I like it. I like it. If you're in the New England area and you want to join a fly swap, Jin has been running, I don't know, by yourself or probably with a couple other people, right? An annual fly swap, New England fly swap, where you can tie like a dozen flies or something, and everyone does it, and then they make a grab bag of different flies you get to have. So you're sharing your pattern with other people, and they're sharing yours with them. I used to do it all the time. Excuse me. I used to do it all the time back in the day with our fly fishing club, Eastern Fly Rodders, but I would take part, but I already do enough tying, and I already have enough flies. But it's always fun to take part in those. So if you're interested, maybe hit up Jen on Instagram or something. We spread this around a little bit like that. And then go with another color. Thumbnail is one of your best fly tying tools, in my opinion. It's underestimated. Let me see what this looks like once I brush it. Because that'll be kind of like the partial determining factor here. I kind of like it with that green like that. Maybe I'll just go with a little olive on top here and we'll call it. I don't know, we're doing a little experimentation, you know what I mean? Trying some different stuff out. Whoa! Jay Rosenquist Art, thank you for the... I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate that. Give it up. Round of applause, everybody. A round of applause. Thank you. Jay Rosenquist? How do I say it? Rosenquist. Quist? Let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But thank you so much. I hope you had a great stream. I'm assuming you were doing something perhaps arts related or makers and crafting or But thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody. My name is Mike. We're doing some fly tying. If you're familiar with fly tying or fly fishing, we take a hook, we take some thread, and we use either natural or synthetic materials. We tie the material on there, and then we make it look like a fish and fool some fish into taking a bite so we can catch them. This is what we do for a living. Make a bunch of videos. We got fly tying tutorials, this and that, but I also tie commercially for different businesses and stuff like that. So, but thank you again. I appreciate it. This, we're kind of just messing around. This ain't the this is kind of what we're usually tying with this sort of material. Stuff like this. But we're just kind of messing around with some dubbing brush. I'm not necessarily 100% happy with it, but I was just kind of curious what we'd get. But thank you again. I appreciate that. We were just whipping up a couple flies. I don't know if this one's going to be put on the table tomorrow. This might just go in my fly box, but not really a looker. It I think I want to experiment. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. That actually kind of looks kind of cool. It almost has like a rainbow trout vibe if we took some. You know what? I'm not going to hate on it. Let's put some eyes on it, and then we'll see. Okay? Let's do that. Because I kind of went with the dubbing brush. Those dubbing brushes weren't the best. They were kind of thinned out a little, but let's go ahead and glue some eyes on there. How long we've been tying for? Oh, man, since the late 90s. Since the late 90s. I'm 34, and I started tying when I was like 7 or 8 or 9. So somewhere around like 99. Probably serious getting into it in the early 2000s, like 2000, 2001. Commercially, though, like I've been doing this for a living, tying for like websites and businesses and things like that for like the past 5, 6, 7 years. I don't even know how long it's been, but we were doing that before I've been affiliated on Twitch, an affiliate. So let me type something so I can see my name in chat, and let's see how long I've been an affiliate or a sub to my own channel. How about that? If I hover, what is it? 79 months. So I was tying commercially for like a year or two before that. So you can do the math. I never realized that flies are meant to look like fish. Well, so dolphin. A lot of times they're made to look like an insect. But it depends what you're fishing for. The fly is made to imitate whatever fish are eating, whether it is a small mayfly or caddis or something that trout, you would see those bugs, like in a river runs through it. That's like your traditional quote-unquote fly, you know, that a lot of people think of. But any fish that eats something that you can imitate, you can tie a fly for. So you could tie a piece of corn to imitate for carp. You can tie a ballyhoo tube fly and catch marlin on the fly. You can tie something for tuna, sharks. We've tied shark flies. We've caught sharks on the fly on stream out on my boat. So you can fly fish for anything. So a fly is really dlop or D-loop, D-lop. Dlop. I'm calling you dlop because that just sounds fun. But thank you again, Rosenquist. What were you? What sort of art do you do? Do you paint? Do you do modeling, or like figures or something? Or are you sculpting? Or you what do you do? I'm curious. Everyone, if you're interested, go check out and follow. Let me see. Do you remember how to do it, Jin? We're terrible. Yay, river runs through it. I've lived in Montana my whole life. How do I shout people out very easily? Is it exclamation mark? What was the command? Exclamation mark S? Was it? Or was it SO? I'm trying to remember. Let me try this. One of them I'm not supposed to put a letter in front. Hey, there we go. It is SO with an at. Okay, cool. Hey, look at that. See, I've streamed so long, I forgot how it works. I've gotten to that point in streaming on Twitch where I'm like, how does everything work again? Thank you. Thank you, Jen. Appreciate that. Be sure to go drop a follow on Twitch for Jay Rosenquist. Appreciate it. Mofsu, best of luck with the streams. Hey, thank you. Thank you again for the raid. Appreciate it. Have an awesome night. Functional pottery. Very cool. Lots of functional pottery. Very cool. Thank you again. Be sure if you want to check out some handmade pottery here on Twitch, go check out Jay Rosenquist art. And thank you again for the raid. All right. So we were going to kind of wrap it up here soon, but I might be able to find somebody to throw a raid over to as well. Because I have a fly show we're working tomorrow. I got to get up super early and drive out west. But if you're on Long Island, we'll be at the Long Island Fly Show. I'll be getting there probably around like 8 or 8 something or whatever. I think they open up at 9. I think it's $10 for an adult, and I think kids are free or something like that. So you can come on out. There'll be a bunch of different vendors and fly tires and people that you can check out. People selling flies, selling rods, used fishing gear, all that. Captains for guided trips you can meet. Stuff like that. It's delayed by 3 seconds. Yeah, there's always going to be a delay. So, but thank you, Jen. I appreciate that. You're a G. Let's get these eyes sitting. I want to get a close up here so you guys see. You know, it's not too bad. I kind of like it. It's not like your traditional squimpish fly, but it shows you can use it. You know, we did a squimpish brush on the inside. It's interesting. I wonder if we took like a black Sharpie and kind of did like a rainbow trout type effect. I might do that after this dries. Not too shabby. Maybe I'll throw it on the table. Let me throw some head cement on here. What island is that in your logo? It looks familiar. I can't place it. Long Island. All the way to the left of that island is Queens, New York, and all the way to the right of it is Montauk, New York. Long Island sticks out from New York City, essentially, because New York City is an island. It's a bunch of different islands. And Long Island is the largest island. It sticks off in New York, and it sticks out into the Atlantic Ocean like 100-something miles. Oh, how long is that, Alan? This fly? This is longer than 4 inches. I'm going to say, let's measure it. I'm going to say this is about 5 and a quarter. Just from my, I'm going to say it might even be a 6. That might be a 6. That's 6.5, 7 inches. Right there. Because the material ends about right here. So about 6.5 inches. I would make some sort of witty joke about size and being a guy, Jin, but I'm too tired. Something about you being, like, you know, generous with the size or something, about 4 inches or something. I don't know. There's a joke there, but I'm just too tired to weed it out. I guess I never say Long Island isolated like that. CT, myself. I mean, we're literally right across from each other. D-Lop. If I go on the North Shore, I could see you, essentially. So we're essentially neighbors. You're closer to me in Connecticut than I am to people in New York City. Not that I ever use these, but back when I tried using dating sites before, it crushed my absolute soul because I forgot that it's better to just meet people in person. It's all bots, but it would just constantly match me with women in Connecticut because I am way closer to Connecticut than I am to like anywhere else. Like you just take a ferry, it's like a hour or 2 long ferry as opposed to driving to the city. So we're actually neighbors, believe it or not. So tell them to stop putting the people in Connecticut to stop putting their disposable tampon dispensers. They wash over from Hartford, Connecticut up on the North Shore to Orient. You see them all the time. And I guarantee you they're coming from what do you call it? That one city over there in Connecticut. It's always a joke we have whenever we fish because they're everywhere. There's like these Tampa. I'm sure they're coming from Long Island too because people flush them and stuff. But it's always a joke that they're coming over from what is it? I think it's Hartford or whatever is that one city where the ferry land. I forget where it is. But all right. Anyways, Connecticut's nice. I've been there. I had a friend who moved there at some point in high school. I went to visit him. It was a lot of fun. No idea about that, but sorry. No, that's that's a little inside joke we have if you fish on the North Shore of Long Island. I'm sure it's equally distributed from Long Island as well, but that was a little fishing joke. If you don't get it, never mind. All right, we're going to probably wrap it up here because I got to get up pretty early tomorrow. It's 9 p.m. here. I got to get up like 6 tomorrow for this fly show. So appreciate you folks hanging out. I am going to take a look real quick here and see if I can maybe throw a raid out. If there's anybody doing any fishing related stuff here on Twitch. Give me 1 second while I take a look at our follower list. Lawn, Connecticut? What? Oh, you mean the Connecticut Sound? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, Connecticut's trying to steal the Long Island Sound from us. It's a whole thing. Isn't that right? I'm pretty certain like they want to call it the Connecticut Sound as opposed to the Long Island Sound. We're actually mortal enemies. I'm sorry. We are mortal enemies. You are right. Okay, well, nobody that I see is doing fishing-related stuff. So, but you know what? Somebody threw us a raid, so how about let's go to Makers and Crafting. And let's find an interesting channel that we can throw a raid out to. Okay, somebody is modding Nerf guns. That's kind of cool. 3D printing, building keyboards. Founding colonial documents grant us a claim in a Long Island single band of land to the Pacific. What? You get like a foot wide strip from Long Island to the Mississippi River. Connecticut's like, yep, this is our land. Sorry about that. Look, I mean, come on, guys. Like, we don't. That's just, you know, you don't want to be known as the Karens of Connecticut or Connecticut Karens. Somebody's got to like put up a little fence in their backyard, and the Connecticut gubernatorial or what the hell is that word? Gubernatorial mayor or something. He's like, I deem this land Connecticut. That's actually kind of interesting. Imagine you guys like capitalized on that and took like, I don't know how many square feet it would be, but it's like a foot wide across the entire United States. All right. Give me a second here. I'm trying to find somebody that's doing something interesting. What is this? Sculpting. And for you folks on YouTube, unfortunately, this doesn't affect you, but thank you so much for tuning in and watching. If you're coming out tomorrow, be sure to stop by. All right, I just got to pick something here. So I do like this. And I like picking people that maybe don't have as many viewers like me most of the time. Let me go ahead and just throw a Moon Phase 87 is putting... I don't know. This is very interesting. They're like making some sort of art with like these beads or something, but laying it out on this like illuminated table. It's like those Light Bright. Remember like Light Brights when you're a kid? It's kind of what it looks like. So let's throw a raid out. Moon Phase 87. Okay, give me a second. I gotta figure out how to do this again. I don't know this person, but we're going to start a raid. And it looks pretty interesting. So thank you so much for tuning in, chat. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. Hey, Outdoor Roman. Hope you're doing well. We're unfortunately getting off right now. I got the fly show I'm doing in the morning. But in Long Island, if you're out on Long Island, come stop by the Long Island Fly Show. And thank you so much for everybody hanging out. And if you haven't, go check out the new video that just came out, the Chris Windrum's American Eel Fly on YouTube. So, and Sunday we have a shrimp gurgler that is coming out. Fought 3 wars and nearly tanked the U.S. founding over the issue. Really? I'll have to look into that. Very interesting. But thank you so much, everyone on Twitch. We're going to throw a raid out to a random channel on Makers and Crafting, Moonphase. I don't know this channel, but I'm going to tune in and say hello as well. They're doing diamond art or something. It's like these little gemstones over an illuminated panel. Looks pretty cool. So, but thank you so much for hanging out. As always, be nice and say hello to this channel. You don't always have to, stick around, but just say hello and, show some love to a fellow Makers and Crafting channel. So, but thank you so much. Thank you to everybody watching on YouTube. Thank you on Twitch. We'll see you guys. You have an awesome night. And I'll see you tomorrow at the Fly Show if you're coming. All right? Later. Now, you folks on YouTube, I think you're still here, aren't you? Did my raid work? Anyways, we'll see you, chat.